actually that should say, here is the list of equipment needed for a full O-ring and driver blade replacement. We recommend purchasing genuine tackwise parts to avoid tool malfunction. Always ensure you take the necessary safety precautions before starting. We recommend wearing safety goggles, gloves, and facing the tool away from your face at all times. Always disconnect your tool from the airline and ensure all fasteners have been removed before making any repairs. Prepare your work area by laying out all of the O-rings on your work surface. Begin removing the cylinder cap by unscrewing the 4 bolts with your Allen key. Remove the cylinder press ring, cylinder, driver unit and bumper. Store these parts safely to the side of your workspace. Using your punch and hammer, knock out the 2 spring pins closest to the handle. Remove the trigger and trigger spring. Store these safely in a dish to the side of your workspace. You'll need to go in through the top of the tool to access the complete trigger unit, as demonstrated. Using your chosen tool, gently push the plunger cap, valve plunger, and trigger valve head downwards. These will release as one piece where the trigger usually sits. Use your punch to gently push the 2 spring pins out of the complete trigger and carefully dismantle the parts. Carefully remove the O-rings from the plunger cap, valve plunger and plunger one at a time, taking care not to damage the O-rings. Match with the correct size and replace all the O-rings. Lightly oil. To reassemble, place the valve plunger, spring, plunger and trigger valve head into the plunger cap, taking care to line up the grooves of the trigger valve head with the plunger cap. Reassemble the 2 spring pins. Lightly oil. Reassemble the complete trigger, ensuring the grooves line up with the spring pin holes. Reassemble the spring pin closest to the handle, using your hammer to gently knock into position. Reposition the trigger and spring into the tool, using the second spring pin to guide the trigger into position. Use your hammer to gently knock the remaining spring pin into position. Remove the head valve and spring from the cylinder cap by tapping on a wooden block or hard surface. Use the hook or chosen tool to carefully remove the O-rings from the head valve one at a time. Match with the correct size and replace, ensuring each new O-ring is correctly placed into position. Lightly oil. Reassemble the head valve and spring into the cylinder cap. Use the hook or chosen tool to carefully remove the O-rings from the cylinder one at a time. Match with the correct size and replace. Lightly oil. Reassemble the bumper after carefully checking it for wear and tear. If you see any signs of damage, such as tears or cracks, replace the bumper, as this may cause the tool to malfunction. Reassemble the cylinder into the tool, ensuring the groove of the cylinder is in line with the groove closest to the handle. Replace the driver unit with the new one and assemble the new piston ring and O-rings. Reassemble the cylinder press ring, ensuring the widest side is facing upwards. Reassemble the cylinder cap using the Allen key to tighten each of the 4 Allen bolts a little at a time. Use the Allen key to loosen the bolts at the back and the front of the magazine. Place the magazine and protector safely to the side of your workspace. Use the circlip pliers to remove the C-ring, feed piston cap and spring. Take care here, as the spring may spring up with some force. Remove the feed piston bumper. Remove the PU retainer. Use your circlip pliers to remove the pin feed piston. Remove the feed finger spring and feed finger. Remove the feed piston and carefully replace all the O-rings. Lightly oil. Reassemble the feed piston. Reassemble the feed finger and feed finger spring, ensuring the legs line up with the grooves of the feed finger. Using your circlip pliers, carefully guide the pin feed piston back into position. Carefully reassemble the PU retainer. Reassemble the feed piston bumper and spring. Applying downward pressure, use your circlip pliers to carefully click the feed piston cap and C-ring into position. Reassemble the magazine using the Allen key and spanner to fasten the bolt at the front and the back of the tool. Always ensure the front Allen bolt is the feed side of the tool. We recommend testing the tool before use to ensure the trigger mechanism works in accordance with the manual.